I showed up here today to go surfing, and I packed up all my stuff, and I was gonna go surfing for the first time since March. It's just after Thanksgiving now, and I put everything in the car, brought all this food, put all this stuff together, drove for an hour and a half out the coast for the first time since March. And when I got here, that wave is huge. When I got here, I found out that I had not brought the right earplugs. I brought only 2 right earplugs and no left earplug. And anyone who's been following me at all knows that I've had these chronic ear surgeries, 4 of them, which prevented me, or should prevent me, from actually going in the water, other than the fact that I have earplugs molded to this hole in my head, basically, so that I don't get water in my ear. And if I were to get water in the ear, it would basically make it so that I'd lose my equilibrium and I could drown. So I need to have my earplugs. And this is the first time ever that I forgot to bring a right and a left earplug. That I didn't forget. It's the first time ever I don't have my earplugs. I have 2 right earplugs. So I get out here, the waves, it's a beautiful sunny day, which is unusual for the coast of Oregon. It's the one sunny day in a few. And the waves were forecast to be just 3.5 feet, which is moderate, which is small and doable for me, because I didn't want to really kill myself out there. And I get here and I don't have the capacity to go surfing. I run into some other guys in the parking lot that are nice. There's only like 4 other people, and there's 1 person that was in the water and they came in, so there's nobody in the water, which is wonderful, because I don't like to be competitive, and who does? You want to be able to enjoy the surf and not have to worry about competing for the waves. So it was this perfect situation. Here's a surfer coming in. I thought, until I got suited up and put my wetsuit on and started to put my earplugs in, and no tamale. I couldn't do it. Surprisingly, I wasn't that upset. I mean, I used to come out to the ocean all the time and go surfing and go to the beach. Just walk the beach before I realized I could go back in the water. And what I discovered was that the waves are crossed up. They're messy. And the surf is higher than 3 feet. There are 6-foot waves that come in, which would make paddling out through those waves, very, very traumatic on my ears, even with the earplugs. Or the duck diving is more challenging. But the thing is that it's completely inconsistent. Sometimes it looks like and nobody's catching waves. Sometimes the waves just peter out. It looks like they're gonna break and they don't. Sometimes when they do break, they're weak. Again, they peter out. Sometimes there's no one place that they ever break. They're breaking here, there, and everywhere. So sometimes they're breaking too far out from where you expect, and then other times too far in, with, like I said, various amounts of power, mostly of which is just a quick break and then a lot of white foamy stuff without any real place to ride it. It's a cacophony, and it's a disaster. And I know that in the past, which is the last time I came out here in March, it was a similar condition, and it really frustrated me, because I went out there, did all of this prep work, put this wetsuit on. I have to go clean the wetsuit anyhow, and I wasn't able to. Afterwards, you have to rinse the wetsuit in the cold, right? Because it's dark and cold in Oregon at night in winter. And so I was super frustrated. And so this time I'm not. And, I think it's a good analogy about life. Surfing is always such a good analogy about life, it's turned out to be. But making all of these choices when, choices aren't always very good. I don't know who gets set up sets of choices where they're all, where the confusion is such that all the choices are just perfect. That does happen sometimes. And it does sometimes happen where the choice is super clear and you make it, like my move to Los Angeles was super clear and I made it. But most of the time it's just a jumbled, crossed up mess that sometimes seems like it's going to be really a good thing and it peters out. Or worse, like you're caught inside of a big breaking set of waves that are pummeling the shit out of you because you're not far enough out. And it's a 6-foot set when there were 3-foot waves before that. So you either get just totally fucked up or you get in a situation where you're lounging around waiting for stagnation, you're stagnating and hoping for change, trying to make change happen, but you can't make a wave come. You can sit out there like this. See this guy out there? It's probably pretty far. He's just sitting out there. He's waiting. He's waiting for a wave to come his way. There ain't no wave that's coming his way. As a matter of fact, here's a wave that just came his way, and it broke before him, and oh, look at him. He got it. But it was just a minute. Just not a minute. We're talking seconds. Because it didn't have any power. So, that just seems to have been life. And, we're not always in the right physical condition to deal with shit like that. My physical condition today means, I'm not catching the waves at all. So I get to sit by the sideline and watch the surfers catch the waves. And, the surfers in the parking lot were really nice. And they said to me that they'd catch a wave for me, which was really super cool. And I got to have some good interaction, and I got to have an ability to sit at this amazing viewpoint. Now they're having a little fire down there. I mean, look at this viewpoint. It's for me to just be able to hang out and watch the sunset, which sometimes when you're in the middle of the action, you can't sit and watch the sunset. And you can't actually just sit there and watch and see how other people are doing or what other people are doing or any of that. You lose the perspective. And what I really decided I wanted to come out here too was to try to make peace with the whole situation. Because I've gone out there surfing, like I said, and I have all of these feelings and emotions that aren't positive. And at one point in time, it was just a thrill to go out there and to enjoy and appreciate the waves and appreciate nature. And for some way, I've lost that ability, that perspective, and it became a struggle, and it became a hardship often, and it became a difficulty, and it became going against the odds. And sometimes maybe it's good to just sit back and say, listen, nature, what's going on out there? And realize that you're not alone. If I would have gone out there, I would have just been in my own little zone, frustrated and thinking that other people what's going on with the other people? Are they all better than me? Can they catch those waves, but I'm not able to catch those waves? There's something wrong with me, right? I'm a victim. The universe hates me. The ocean hates me. Why is it that I'm incompetent, blah, 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 really. And I know that I'm not alone in any of those thoughts. But, this way I get to look at other people and see, they're not catching the waves because there's not a capacity. You can be the best surfer in the world right now and not catch waves right there because there's no waves to be caught. It's not the setup for waves to be caught. It's a setup for you to go out there and be the best person that you can be if you can go out there physically and feel like it. And just be out there and paddle around and realize that maybe if something comes your way, you might get a tiny, there he is, or she. Actually, he got in the green room for a second. Like it looked like he was writing it underneath the wave, like in a green room a moment. I doubt it, but you could just be out there and realize, you might get a moment. And if you get a moment, then you get that moment. Count that as lucky, And you know what? You don't have to stay out there forever. The weird thing is that I go out there and I sit there for 2 hours. And even if it's a frustrating situation, waiting and hoping and arguing with nature to try to come my way and finding out all these reasons why I'm not able to do this, when, you know what I saw today? Is that these guys, they just came in. They were out there for a little bit. A couple milliseconds, a couple people had a moment. And then they came in. Their little dog was running around. I met him, Otto, so cute. And see, now they're having a cool little fire. I mean, the difference, of course, is that they have a little group of friends that they hang out with and they're having fun, and I always do it on my own. But either way, they came in, is the point. So sometimes you just go out, you do the best you can, you hope for a moment, and sometimes the circumstances are better, and you can ride a ton of waves and have a good time. But other times, it's not going to be so good. It's just not. No matter what the forecast said, it's not going to be good. As far as surfing. But look at how good everything else is. Just looking around and just enjoying the moment and just appreciating what is good. Because I guarantee there's somewhere there's something about a negative situation. There's a light. They always say there's a light. And I think there is. I'm just not trained at looking at it. Actually, I'm trained to do the opposite. I do the opposite. And I'm not advocating that anymore. I really am not. I ended up having a good moment here. And I got a break from all the depth that you guys are watching right now. I hope you get a little break too from whatever your setup is and however your ocean is treating you today. I hope you get a break. And if you don't get a break, and by the way, Point Break was filmed here in 1991. And if you don't get a break, just try to look for it. Look for the light. Look for the beautiful moment inside of it, despite yourself, despite myself. Because oddly, like I said, there's a glee. I had a moment of glee, even when I realized I had 2 right ears. All right.